Okay, so now we have created our new node and we want to attach it to the head of our linked list. So before we do this, there is something that we have to consider. What do we do if our linked list is currently empty with no prior nodes in it versus what do we do if there are already nodes present in our linked list? These are two situations that we have to account for with our code. So if the linked list is empty, then adding to the head of it is very simple. We just create a new node and point the linked list's head and tail pointers both at this new node, because since it is the only node in the list, it will be both the head and the tail node. Now, if our linked list isn't empty, we have to make sure that we connect our new head node to all of the other nodes correctly, and we will do this by making sure the previous and next pointers of both the old head and the new head node are pointing where they should be pointing. So we will have to make sure that these two pointers are referencing the correct nodes. We will have to assign the previous pointer on the old head node to now point at the new head node, because it used to be pointing at null. And we have to assign the next pointer on the new head node to point at the old head node. Then we simply make sure that the linked list head pointer, or this.head, is now referencing the new head node and is no longer referencing the old head node. And that is it. Once we accomplish that, we will have successfully added a new node to the head of our linked list. And I know that sounds like a lot, but don't worry. It's not as bad as it might seem. So let's do it. So the first thing that we want to do is handle the case in which there are already nodes present in our linked list. So let's pretend that we have made a linked list and we have already put a lot of nodes in it. And now we want to add another node to it. So we know that if there are already any nodes present in our linked list, even just one node, we know that there will be a this.head present as well. So we say if there are already nodes present, or more simply, if this.head is present, or if it exists, which is referencing the old head of the linked list, not the new one that we just created because it isn't the head yet. So if this.head is present, then we need to set its previous pointer to now reference our new node, which will very soon be the new head node. And just as an aside, whenever we use the this keyword in our functions, just know that it is always referencing our linked list constructor function, not our node constructor function, because we are inside of a method on our linked list constructor function. Okay, so now we have to handle the case in which there are no nodes already present in our linked list, and this is the first node that we are adding. So we can say that if there is no this.head and the list is empty, or more simply, else, we are not going to have to worry about rewiring the previous head node like we just did up here, because it doesn't exist. So the only thing that we are going to have to do in this case is set the linked list's tail pointer, or this.tail, equal to our new node. Because since this will be the only node in our linked list when we add it, it will be both the head node and the tail node. And finally, we get to handle exactly what we set out to do, add our new node to the head. So we simply say this.head equals our new node. And this is not inside of an if-else block, because whether our linked list was previously empty or not, in both situations we are going to need to assign our new node to be the new head node of our linked list. Great, so that is our add to head method. Pretty cool, right? Now let's run through real quick exactly what is going on in here line by line. So the first thing that we did up here is put a method on our linked list prototype called addToHead. We then created a new node with our node constructor function and assigned it to the name newNode. We set the value property on our new node to the value parameter that we pass in through the addToHead method. We set the next property equal to this.head, which will be a node if there are already any nodes in our linked list, or it will be null if our linked list is currently empty, because we set this.head to null up here. And we set our previous property to null because our new node will be the new head. Therefore, there will be no nodes previous to it. On the next line we say, okay, if this linked list already has nodes in it, or if it already has a head, set that head's previous pointer equal to our new node, which will be the new head very soon. If the linked list is empty, set the linked list's tail pointer to our new node, because our new node will be the only one in the list. Therefore, it will be both the head node and the tail node. And finally, whether the linked list was previously empty or not, we want our new node to be the head of our linked list. So we say this.head equals our new node. And that is it. We just put our first method on our linked list, and we can now finally add nodes to it. Let's see what it looks like when we use this method in the next video.